Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, November 21st, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. For 6 minutes, sometime today, explore this statement, that the truth of who I am is. Now, you don't need to have any inclination or, the truth of who I am is. Just pointing in this direction will spontaneously and magically allow you to awaken your highest level of being. Just by going in that direction. You can easily transcend and ascend past old illusions when you are centered in the truth of who you are. All your unconscious, hypnotic, doing and thinking patterns will disappear when you are present to this truth. What do you feel like you need to do today to discover more about the truth of who you really are? Knowing who we really are gives us permission to forget who we think we are. Knowing who we really are gives us permission to forget who we think we are. And who we think we think we're the body. We think we're this life. We think we're the physical material world. You can't change the truth, but the truth can change you. There are as many great truths in our universe as there are stars in the sky. And yet, just like the billions of trillions of stars that exist, and remember, every one of those stars is a solar system. Not all truths are created equal. This universe is not just made of black and white colors. Because here on this planet, when you look up there, you just see black and white, for the most. But when you look, if you have the opportunity to look closer on a clear night, you'll see an entire rainbow of flavors. There's a vast multidimensional cosmic playground out there. And inside each and every single one of us as well. When you look at the body, your body, the body that you're in, you'll understand that it's almost like a miniature universe with all the cells, and all the arteries, the corpuscles, everything down to the quantum quark. And if you were small enough, like a quantum quark, the body would seem like a universe. We live in a highly diverse, intelligent system which contains various degrees of truth, and so not every truth will impact us the exact same way. The bigger a truth is, the more it will expand our reality, and the smaller a truth is, the more it will shrink and contract our experience of this life. Now, good news is that we don't have to decide what is a big truth and what is a small truth. Our physical bodies will let us know, for our heart is the best guide for seeing how expansive or contracted a truth actually is. Whenever we discover a larger, more profound truth in this life, a little miracle happens. Everything that once felt hard, heavy, and stuck inside us suddenly becomes exalted and liberated. We feel lighter than air and are filled with a natural, spontaneous joy inside, which flows as freely as the wind. The mind stops thinking, and we experience our own source of consciousness. From here, we see life from a much more expanded perspective, and it can happen within milliseconds. One of the biggest truths that you may have ever uncovered along your path was the first lesson, maybe, in the Course of Miracles. It simply states, that which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. Quite interesting, isn't it? That which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. Now, when you really, really, really digest this enormous truth into your mind, and you root it throughout your life, the more you'll sit with it, the deeper it transforms your entire life, your entire way of viewing yourself and others in this world. That which is real cannot be threatened. Think about this. What is it that feels threatened inside each and every one of us? What is this personality, this self, this ego, or that the thing you call you, which defends itself when feeling attacked or provoked? What is this little you who has a need to be on guard and protect itself, trying to assert itself, and attempting to achieve something important or worthwhile with their life? And then, who is this overly strong, confident, all-important you who compensates for the super small, unimportant you? It's the one who has been attempting to make your life secure by feeling self-important, accomplished, met in deep embrace by their beloved, and all the while is feeling a deep and constant separation from God. In all this, the good news in all this is that who we truly are has nothing to do with who and what we think we are. Zero. No connection whatsoever. Whatever we may think of and conceive of about ourselves with the mind can only be a thought. And this little thought is too small to be who or what we are. Who and what we really are is beyond any spiritual understanding of the mind. Why do you think our minds try to keep us every which way but loose about that? In this moment, and only this moment, we can find what is actually real, and this real thing is the only thing that liberates us and binds us at the same time. That which is real, the real you, does not change. And this essence is what remains the same for all eternity. Perhaps the most pivotal, enlightening truth that many have discovered is understanding how all identification with the ego is based in some form of fear. It is understanding how all identification with the ego is based in some form of fear. If we are not experiencing a state of oneness, unity, love, connection, relaxation, and bliss, we are hanging out in some quality or version of fear. The ego is clinging to some thought or a process of thoughts which believes deep down that it is not one with the divine. It thinks it is not loved, accepted, embraced, and enlightened. The more creative you become, the more godly you become. When your creativity comes to a climax, when each moment of your life is filled with creativity, you live in God. Osho. Enlightenment is simply realizing again and again and again how to remain non-identified with one's ego. The enlightened state is a pure seeing, understanding how the ego is the greatest illusion of them all. to intimately know and become identified with the real self. That which cannot be threatened, that's the real self, is the only true path to total freedom there is. All other paths lead to some form of suffering. That's been proven over and over and over again throughout existence. It requires no basic standard of ethics, codes of spirituality, or religious background needed to arrive. You simply experience yourself as the essence of consciousness that you naturally are. The ego, this is who we think we are, has some truth to it, yet it's just not a very big truth. It's a smaller truth which only castrates our ability to expand into love, trust, and feeling of oneness. Ego is a fear-based program, and it is a program, okay? The ego is a program that is based in the opposite experience of trust. Whenever we are living in trust 24 hours a day, we start accessing all the wisdom and knowledge known to all the saints, masters, and enlightened beings in history. We step into the greatest experience of our lives. We find our real true selves and know that we are the real masters of our destiny. When we know our real nature, we can allow life to play its ego personality role through us and somehow not get in the way. We can sit back, go with the flow, and enjoy the ride. We can remain fascinated by this life, learning how we are here to serve others, take care of our bodies, and simply let the all-intelligent life force move through us. This state of perpetual enjoyment of life is real mastery. When we remain free from all forms of ego identification, we cannot help but to enjoy all aspects of this life. We allow greater love to always guide our course and help us live with ease and grace in every way. The moment you start seeing life as non-serious. How many people take life seriously? Too serious, really, really serious. The moment you start seeing life as non-serious, a playfulness, all the burden on your heart disappears. All the fear of death, of life, of love, everything disappears. One starts living with a very light weight, or almost no weight. So weightless, one can fly in the open sky, ocean. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax our bodies. We know we're not these bodies. So therefore, it should be very easy for us to look at why they're not relaxed. And we know that because of the ego mind, and most people on this planet, none of us are exempt from the ego, haven't mastered that yet. So they are driven, controlled, mastered, and enslaved by the ego mind. The mind creates the ego. The mind is an illusion, creates the ego as an illusion to assist the mind. So when you look at your body, that body you're in, and you know that there is a really deep awareness that the body attracts a lot of things. It attracts all of the information from the time that body was baby, all the talking and all the communication as that body grew. It was absorbing all of it, storing it in the subconscious mind. Good, bad, indifferent. what was recommended, how you should be, how you shouldn't be. All of it is stored. You can see a lot of house cleaning that has to happen with our subconscious minds, because there's a lot of garbage in there and a lot of crap in there that doesn't serve us the greater good at all. So when it really isn't, it is pretty this simple to a certain extent. You're in a hot air balloon and you have all those bags of sand and they're all tied, and they're ballast. They keep the basket on the ground. Okay. So you're not going to be able to soar, or fly, or to see the beauty of the planet up in the sky because of the fact that you've got all of this crap that you've been carrying. And a lot of us carry crap. Or, I mean, a lot of us do. And is anybody exempt? Very few, if any. And so we carry this and we build on it. We add more to it. But we also get so used to having it that we're afraid to let go of it, to surrender it. So we keep it and we drag it. That's why we become so heavy. Some of you might have been feeling when you wake up in the morning like you're really heavy. I don't mean weight-wise, no physical weight-wise, but an energy. Have you felt that when you get out of bed? You just start walking around. The heaviness, okay? This is transitional information energy that is happening. And it's also to give you a heads up on what it's going to feel like when you're totally in 5D, completely. Not 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but both feet in. So and it comes down to you, each of us, trusting ourselves implicitly, trusting the universe implicitly, not doubting a thing, knowing everything is the divine order. No matter if it seems rough at times, it's divine order. What is it teaching me? This is something that is teaching me. I want to know what it's teaching me. I'm going to look at it. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to shove it in the back closet. This is teaching me something that keeps surfacing. What is it that it's teaching me? This whole time of our transition as a civilization and coming to full circle of rediscovering that we are gods in bodies, not bodies. We are gods in bodies. And we create our entertainment. And we create everything. So doesn't it make sense that the fears, the anxiousness, the worry, the hatred, the anger, the greed, the manipulation, where does it all come from? It comes from us. Because we believe we're disconnected. We believe that we are not a God, that we're this body, and that's it. And it is totally the opposite, which is the truth. We have all of the things that are programs that you believe you are false. All the religions on this planet are false. But there's things that they've done a good job with, keeping us from discovering that we are gods in these bodies. Darn good job of it, hasn't it been? But I think that what I believe is that we are now transitioning because more and more people are discovering, at least discovering, to open themselves up and saying, I know I'm not this body. And a lot of times people wander this planet and say, I don't feel right. You know why you don't feel right? The reason you don't feel right is because you don't know you're the God in the body. And it's more than just saying, I know I'm the God in the body. It's being the God in the body, not the body. It might sound a little redundant and confusing at times, but it all comes together and makes a lot of sense. So as the body absorbs things, because it does from day to day, you can be happy-go-lucky, and all of a sudden something happens, and then your vibrational frequency drops into the hole. And then everything starts accumulating. What do you think okay, so ego for us is, let's say that you get angry and you want to go and shoot somebody. I'm talking about wars, right? And all this is built up, and then you go and you shoot people because you believe those people are bad, and they believe you're bad. And you know what that's all about? Ego. All these tyrannical governments on the planet. War, threats of war, murder, death, kill is constant. Why? Ego. Now, we're not blaming the ego. We're acknowledging the fact that the ego is the culprit. Doesn't it make sense that civilization begins to understand that we're not the ego? Okay? And as I said, the ego can be a good ally for the period of time that we need it to be an ally. And then we won't need it anymore. Same with the mind. And then once we discover the God is the pure consciousness, we're pure consciousness. We're also beyond pure consciousness. So these discoveries haven't appeared yet, but they will. It's a step-by-step process. You can't rush it. No matter what you think and how you think you can do this or that, you cannot rush it. And there's severe ramifications when you try to rush it. A lot more suffering than you can imagine. So in relaxing our bodies, doesn't it make sense that you can literally sit, focus on your breath, listen to the breath, and listen. That's it. And this is how you can look at the body. You leave the mind and ego alone, subconscious mind alone, and you look at the body, and you see the stresses and factors that you're dragging. And you reach down, and you uncouple the shackles on your ankles as the God you are on the body. And they're released. That weight is no more. You take the yoke off your shoulders. The God takes the yoke off your shoulders. Many of you have seen the little story, affirmation about footprints in the sand. Been around a long time. The body carries the God. Okay? So the body is sacred because it's carrying sacredness of the God, the pure consciousness. So when the God walks with you in unison, you're the God with the body. You're not the body, but a lot of people think, well, I'm walking here, and you look to your right, and there's the God, you. And then you look down and you say, well, but I'm the body. No, you're the God right there. Eventually, we will not have these deep angers and fears about ourselves. They'll be washed away because we will have identified them, faced them, embraced them, and then dispersed them. And a lot of people think that, well, that means that we'll just become zombies. We won't care about anything. We'll just, kind of wander around and daze look on our faces. Never really do anything aggressive. That means people could take advantage of us and do all kinds of things. No, we aren't talking about being weak. We're talking about omnipotently powerful. Doesn't it make sense that when you do understand who and what you are clearly, that you're literally the master of everything? So the worry, the stress, the fear, the anxiety, the fear, think about it. The fear of love, the fear of hate, the fear of poverty, the fear of wealth, the fear of happy, the fear of sad, the fear of eating, the fear of not eating, the fear of smiling, the fear of not smiling, the fear of crying, the fear of laughing. You see how it works? How many times have you had fear through your life where you wanted to say something to somebody, but you were gripped and overwhelmed with fear to do so? So therefore you didn't. And then many moons down the road, you say to yourself, boy, I wish I would have said that. So as you relax the body, that's what we're all doing, we go into the now. We're focused on the breath. The breath is the now. And this is how most of the civilization has been for eons. You have three paths, one on the left, one in the center, one on the right. Okay? And the one on the left and the one on the right are really worn. You see this golden path. Everything's sparkling and glittering, shimmering. And you see the trees are golden, and it's just beautiful. And you have this beautiful bright grass running through the path. Now, you notice that the one on the left, which is the path, is worn. Grass is worn. The shimmer and the sparkle isn't as vibrant as the one in the center. And the same with the one on the right, the future. But the one in the center is pristine. It looks brand new. The reason that is because most of us aren't in the now. In fact, the matter is that rarely are most of us in the now. Because if we were, none of this that's happening with this planet would be happening. None of it. Not even a smidgen. So we all have memories, right? And they're good. We have fun with memories. We have reminiscence, nostalgia. You know, we keepsakes. We keep things. The reason we have these keepsakes is because they're wonderful memories. And we review them, and we feel them, and they uplift our vibrational frequencies. So that's really good. So, yeah, we visit the past, and we look at things, and we have our private library, the subconscious mind, which is really crowded. But then we move forward. We don't stay there. Now, for some of us, we stay there. We get so into it that we end up bringing it into a future that doesn't exist, creating that future, creating that past into that future, turning it into the future, and reliving that past in that future. That's why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always just seem to end up here. And we all go into the future. We all want to know. We all want to know what's going to happen a year from now. We want to know what's going to happen 2-3 months from now. We want to know. We want to know how our lives are going to be. We want to know if we're going to have enough money. We want to know if we're going to be healthy. We want to know if we're going to have wonderful relationships. You know, am I going to get that promotion, or am I going to get a better job? And when am I going to stop being in pain? And when is my body going to be happy and healthy? And all these things. And we want to know, right? So we go to external authorities and we ask them to tell us what's going to happen in our futures. Now, the strange thing is, everything is taken care of in the now. The past, the future, and the now. Some people call it the present. But in the now, we are only in the moment. Each breath is the now. This is really important. You focus on the breath because it is the now. And you're only in the now. You are not in the past. You are not in the future. Only the now. And you practice being only in the now as much as you possibly can. Now, the ego is going to challenge you. I guarantee you that. The ego mind is going to challenge you. Heavy duty, where fear will come in. If I'm not concerned about the future, what's going to happen to me? Will I have enough money to support myself? Will I have enough food? Will I be able to live? Will I have a house? Will I have a place to stay? That's the ego, see? And that's how a lot of people get derailed. And they don't stay in the now. And here's the point. Be trusting, implicitly so. Total trust with the universe, total trust with yourself. You have no worry or concern about tomorrow or the next day. This is a big change for this civilization. Massive. Some it'll take maybe more lifetimes in order to achieve it. Others have already stepped into the beginning processes of it. So you begin to realize is that who is the master? Who is the watcher? Who's the listener? The God that you are is. Every single time. And when you feel your body light, and all that baggage has been dropped off permanently, you feel as light as a feather. You're in the now. You're in this void, this beautiful void, with a massive raging storm all around you. And you know, you're in the now. So there's no interest in the storm. You aren't even curious about the storm. You're in the now. You're in total peace, bliss, and joy. That's our natural state of being. And in this body, we also know that we are not the body, we're not the name, we're not the personality, we're not the character. We're the God, the pure consciousness, the soul. There's a lot of labels, say. It's amazing. There's, and you run out, there's so many names. The soul, the higher self, the spirit, the Father, the Mother, the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost. I mean, these are all facets of the gods that we are. But it's all the God. So we look at these bodies, and we should be able to relax them at any time. And the only way you do that, you move into the now, focus on your breath, sit in a quiet place and listen. Go out in nature, sit in a park. Bundle up if it's too cold. Sit in the house. Focus on your breath, sit, be quiet. So we have these lights in our bodies. There's 7 of them. Some people say there's 4, there's 12, there's 20. We'll just go with this generic 7 that go through the center of the body, top of the head. They are called chakras. Chakra means wheel. They are lights, wheels of light. They are spiritual. They're etheric spiritual energy. We, the gods that we are etheric spiritual energy. We flow through these chakras. They're connected to all of our organs, all processes and functions of the body, down to the quantum quark. So you can understand, like with this attempt to eradicate us, we literally, as the gods we are, would look into the body, we would see the malfunctioning, and we would reverse it. And then we would see any harm that had come, and then we would eliminate it. You see? And I know that some of you feel that vibration, that sweet golden vibration in your heart, that is a fact. So we know the soul is the heaven. The God that we are is heaven. Heaven isn't in the sky. Heaven isn't a place. Heaven is each of us, the gods that we are. Now the heaven, the place, that's the illusion. That's the enticement. And we know the body is the earth. So we are heaven on earth, literally. And those of us who are consciously aware, what does consciously aware mean? What does consciously aware mean? It means that we are consciously aware that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, deepest, and the purest, purest, eternal love. That's what we are. And we also know that every step we take on this planet is we are creating paradise. And we are glowing. The God force, love, light, energy within each and every one of us is illuminating this planet. I mean, for goodness sakes, there's over 8 billion of us. So if you were to take a flight off planet, a couple hundred miles out, and you were to look at this planet, you would see that it glowed, and you would also realize that all the lights around it in this universe would be dim in comparison. So we are a God planet paradise that glows, and that's where we're going. That's what we're creating. Now, we know that there are parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, not the body, that are asleep. They're going to wake up in their own time. They're part of us, but they don't acknowledge anything and they don't hear anything. So they're not in the meditation. They're with us while we're in the meditation. The other parts of us that are awake is what we communicate with. And then as we go along this endless journey, the parts that are asleep begin to wake up. So the parts of us that are awake to a certain extent, consciously aware, that's all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. That's the archangels, the cherubim, seraphim, the archetypes, the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Abundantia, Pel, Thoth, Yeshua. And there are so many. And it doesn't matter how we are housed, right? It's just that we know that we are all the God. But there are so many that come in gigaplexes. And one gigaplex fills this entire universe without even a sacred square inch of sacred space to spare. And these are trillions of gigaplexes coming from trillions of universes in every direction. So the archangels, they're a civilization that vibrate at a different frequency than we do. Right? They're still gods within the body like we are. Still we're all one. We don't see them like we see each other. They always are talking with us, always interacting with us. We just don't know it. On occasion we do. And you could just be walking along, or you could go into a shop or something, and then there's a conversation, and someone out of clear blue comes in and starts talking with you. And you feel lighthearted about it because it's just so easy, and it's almost like you've known this person, this being, like old home week, right? You ever done that? Sure we have. A lot of us have. But you've never met them before, so to speak. And then when you part, a lot of the times something comes over through your heart mind. You say, no, that was very different. That was an angel. That wasn't just the average Joe. And then you feel a little bliss. They have one message they deliver to us, but they do it in many different ways. And they have been for thousands of lifetimes. And isn't it magna-glorious to be alive in these bodies? Isn't it stupendous and spectacular? Because as gods, guys, we don't smell, we don't eat, we don't see. We don't need any of those things. We don't laugh, we don't cry. We don't need any of those things. It's an experience. Being in these bodies is an experience. That's it. It isn't an ending. It is a forever. We go into one, we into another, and take on, enter different shapes, forms, sizes, configurations. Do you think that there are a bunch of gods, right, souls, who say, no, we're not going to incarnate, we're not going to go do anything, we're just going to sit and exist? Okay? Do you think that's the way it is? No, it's not. Now, the archangels can surround us at any time, in any place, whenever they choose. In the tens of thousands or tens of millions, because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And if you want them to surround you, you just ask. Real simple. And it'll be like instantaneous. Tens of thousands, tens of millions. And that'll be bliss for you. Ascended Masters, they've mastered physical. So they ascended physical, they mastered it. They've done it so many times, consciously aware. And then they ascend out of physical into pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical and are mastering physical, and we're creating our experiences to perfect our creation. That's exactly what we're doing. Now we have off-worlders, galactics, and celestials. As a matter of fact, over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. Now, we're only familiar with a small group. The Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the felines, Zeta Reticuli, the Anunnaki, the Nords, the Greys, the Reptilians, the Draco, Golden Pyramid, the Avian. This particular group has been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. It's absolutely fascinating that we have all of these gods that are housed in different forms. Life. The life is the God. The life gives the body life. It allows it to operate and be energized so it can carry us, the God, as we create these experiences. We have more civilizations beneath the surface of this planet. You know, we've got Agartha beneath Earth, How Earth. We've got so many civilizations that are all God. And then all of our loved ones who ascend out of body, they ascend out. They're gods. Pure consciousness. And also understand that when we leave these bodies, that name, that life is through. It's done. That doesn't exist anymore. And a lot of tricks being played on us as gods. They're all light energy beings. Because of the eyes that we have on this planet with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. So all the light spectrums that we just don't see, carrying other life forms that are housing gods. Now, we are familiar with a smidgen of them, the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, centaur, and the minotaur. And we interact with water. What would happen if these bodies didn't have water? We wouldn't be able to stay in them. What would happen if they didn't have air? We wouldn't be able to stay in them. We have an intimate relationship with the magical elements, the elementals, magic. And we're all gathered arm in arm, hand in hand, full compassion, non-judgment, non-negativity, non-ego, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one. And we're all God. And we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify and it continues to expand. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this nut. Where does this light come from? From the gods that we are. It is the God source. It is the pure consciousness. It is pure, deep, eternal love. And it floods this planet. All of us, head to toe, inside and out, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. It's never ending. Isn't it amazing how many of us throughout the ages, throughout existence, have always waited for the light to come to us when we are the light? You see how the physical material world can distract us to the point where we lose total understanding of who and what we are? We begin to descend above the planet, and we're immediately met with this massive glitter ocean. It's just everywhere. And it looks like a grand finale fireworks, one that you've never seen before, with colors that don't exist here on this planet. And a massive laser light show. And sparkling and electrics everywhere. And, it's like a ballroom globe, the mirrored globes that reflect the different colors of light and flash them all over the place. Except this one is about 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. So we look at the reflective points because we're all curious. And as we get really close, we notice these microscopic peripherally etched mirrors. As we enter them, we discover that all of us gathered in this meditation, all of us are teaching and learning and teaching from each other. It never ends. It's nonstop. Now, we can choose, if we are not too distracted, to ask ourselves, what is that bug in the rug teaching me? What is that spider crawling out of the drain teaching me? And it may sound really trivial to many, but it is not. Do you think it's just when you see a bear and others see a bear that there's no message? There always is. When a human being comes into your life and they're there for a second or maybe a minute or longer, what are they teaching you? What are you teaching them? What are they learning? What are you learning? When we stop judging the cover, which is difficult for many, and we first go within to touch the God of that person, that being, then the surface is second. In most cases, after that, it doesn't matter. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. And we will begin to discover that deeply. We were then met with the violet blue flaming purple light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that the gods that we are, of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created that reminds us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are imbued with a white fire armor, not like armor on this planet, way beyond that. Where does this white fire armor come from? The God source, the pure consciousness, of which is each and every one of us. Now, it cannot be weakened, penetrated, manipulated, seduced. No lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. No attachments, no possessions, nothing, ever. Yet, only you have the power. If you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, greed, fear, anger, stress, manipulation, deception, greed, envy, revenge, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Now, if you decide to do this, Yes, there are no possibilities of attachment, possession. All kinds of interesting things. And you decide to do this, we created two columns together of light. The first one is the purple transmuting flame. We created this column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sealing the breach through the violet ray that we bring in behind the purple transmuting flame. It reminds us that we can bring it in, cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies once were, where they have been sent to pure consciousness, where they are no more. We seal the breach. We restore our vibrational harmony of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met by the golden white pink light. This is a column of light that we created to remind all of us, the gods that we are in these bodies, that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the sun rises, the sun sets. We are the rain, the rainbows. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We are the soils. We are the trees, the forests, the clouds, the sky. We are everything, and everything is us. So the next time that you view a sunset or a sunrise, starry-lit night sky, mountain view, rainbow, is you. It's each and every one of us. You're the beauty. You're the splendor. You're the majesty. You're the beauty. You are everything. You say that is the God that I am. Picture sitting with a young one. And you look at that sunset and you say, see that sunset? And the young one says, yes. That sunset is you, the God within you, the God that you are. It is the God that I am. The young one says to you, what are you then? I am that. I am the God that I am. Can you imagine the difference on this planet when that is understood and embraced without ego mind interruption? We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us step outside our physical form and hover effortlessly above it. We're carrying physical form. Why do we do this? Because we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower that we made, we created. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column is this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by multiple color, vibrant rings of light, and they almost seem endless. And they're all sending this massive, it looks like a cloud mist, and it's sparkling, and it's vibrating, and it looks like it has electrics in it, and it's absorbed into our bodies. And it's like a warm embrace that never ends. And then we discover that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, then peace, then well-being, then gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. And then bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence, great prosperity, great abundance. It's endless. And it is a reflection of us, the gods that we are. At the top of this column, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees. And it is doing right now, flooding all of us, saturating and bathing us head to toe, inside and out. This is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, deepest, and the purest of the purest, purest, eternal love, gratitude, peace. Flooding all of us nonstop, right in this very now. Tap into it through your heart mind. You'll know it. You'll feel it. We see our meditative sphere at set center circle. We created this sphere almost 4 years ago. It houses almost 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion. Now, these meditations don't disintegrate, weaken, dissipate, go away, or vanish. They do the opposite. They intensify and they expand. They continue to do so. These are the highest of the highest high love vibration, purest of gratitude, peace, showering, bathing, flooding all of us, 24/7, nonstop, eternally. Anytime you want to tap in, move into silence. Leave your mind and ego and subconscious mind alone. Focus on your breath, and you'll be there. This is flooding all of us nonstop. Think about that. Feel it. The golden ocean, all of it. And we're drops of all of it. We're drops of the golden ocean. We hold the essence of the golden ocean. We hold the essence of everything. Golden ocean, drops of the golden ocean. The only illusion is separation. Another trick. This universe is abundant and overflowing with positive energy. You can feel it anytime you choose. Just stop whatever you're doing and notice this. The moment you pay attention to this abundance, you resisting it from coming in. Take about 7 minutes and meditate on all the abundance in the universe right now. Let your mind get out of the way and explore what it feels like to think expansively. Know that everything you can imagine, you can experience everything. I'll join you in meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. Through inner peace, outer power is generated. Through inner peace, outer power is generated. With inner freedom, boundless love is created. With inner freedom, boundless love is created. Meditate on pure consciousness. Feel the inner peace and the outer power. You will discover your divinity. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning, and we will return here Monday, November 22nd, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.